Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth installment of our Sticky Bleachers podcast. I am Bobby here with you today.
And I am Corey, and you know what, Bob? With so much drama in the Super Bowl, it's kind of Horde being the victim of a Rickroll.
Yes, it is Horde. You know, it's kind of hard being the D-O-double-G out there.
Always been Horde being the D-O-double-G. Snoop Dogg at the press conferences for the Super Bowl this week. Did you see that today, Bob?
I did. I saw that making all the Denver Broncos a little bit starstruck, so I would be as
and
well.
Securing his 50% discount for Papa John's Pizza while in the state of Colorado.
It's the same thing I would have asked Peyton if I would have met him. The same thing. I want discounts. I don't even want discounts just in Colorado. I want discounts all over the place. I'd hope that Peyton has that kind of pull.
And I also hope that Snoop Dogg has the kind of money that he doesn't have to buy Papa John's Pizza anymore.
I think Snoop Dogg's done well, but he's, you don't do that well without saving a few pennies every once in a while.
I guess, yeah, and like you need a discount. So not only would this international recording superstar still be eating fast food pizza, but
that makes total
would
sense.
Need a discount on it.
Yeah, both those things make sense, and eating the pizza makes a lot more sense than needing the discount. So we all know what Snoop likes to dabble in. So Papa John's
I know,
Pizza
and I'm
fits
just
perfectly.
Papa John's Pizza. Yeah, suddenly it's things are clicking for me.
That garlic sauce is like crack, so it's good.
Oh, did you say white crack? That's
like
racist,
crack,
Bob.
like crack.
White people crack.
White crack. It might be white crack actually.
Maybe it is. I think they call that cocaine, Bob.
Well.
I think white crack is just pure powdered cocaine.
I think we might have a discussion for another podcast coming up here.
I think
is the white crack?
I think that's a different podcast that we're going to get in trouble if we talking too much. I like Peyton's response where he started with, "Well, Snoop, let me tell you," because Snoop followed up with, "Do you consult with your dad and your brother about this?" And Peyton secured him his 50% discount, which I'm sure that Papa John is going to have to honor now. Thanks a lot, Peyton. Snoop and all of his buddies, his crew, are going to need cheap pizza from Papa John.
Yeah.
But Peyton goes, "Well, Snoop, let me tell you about this." It's like, wow, Peyton Manning, this middle-aged white guy addressing a middle-aged black guy now. Because let's be honest, Snoop is about Peyton's age. Maybe Snoop's older than Peyton.
Snoop might be older than Peyton. I would actually think that he is. So less wear and tear on Snoop's body though. So.
That's true. Their careers in quite a different trajectory.
Although Snoop did make it through the '90s as a rapper, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's true. I'm removing my hat. This is a good audio joke. Taking my hat off. I have to verbally say I'm taking off my hat, although I can't because I have headphones on. So even visually, this joke doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is a bit, Bob. So we have a big game this weekend. Wales is coming to visit Dublin for the Big Six Nations rugby tournament kicking off this weekend in Ireland. That's what's going on.
That's the big game.
That's the big game here in Ireland. It's always really fun, actually, in Dublin during the rugby tournament when the visiting teams come to visit. And Ireland is lucky this year. They have 3 home games because that's a 5-game round robin. So you alternate between having 2 and 3 home games. So
gotcha. I'm assuming that'd be a fun time. Do people get rowdy?
People get rowdy, and because the countries are so close, you get huge influxes of people from the neighboring countries, from the visiting countries in town. So when you go up to the city center on the weekend, they usually stay for the whole weekend to party, and a lot of the bars will decorate up in the visiting team's colors because it's all very congenial, I think. They don't get like physically violent with each other like soccer fans do.
Yeah.
Which is odd because rugby is such a physical sport.
More inherently violent.
And soccer is such a hands-off sport. I mean, literally a hands-off sport.
Yeah. Well, maybe they need to take out their aggression somewhere with soccer. They're like, I got all this pent-up rage and aggression. I can't touch you, so I'm going to fight you outside the stadium or in the stadium.
I guess. Rugby, they like to wear scarves and they sing songs.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think that would be what a soccer fan should look like, wearing a scarf and singing songs. And the rugby fans should be just like literally killing each other inside and outside the stadium. But it's just the opposite. It's the opposite. It's hard to explain.
Well, that's fun though. I'd like to say it's similar to football, but in football we have people beating the crap out of each other outside of stadiums and on the field as well. So.
Yes, and at any given LA Dodgers or San Francisco Giants game, you're taking your life into your own hands.
Yep, that's about the only major league game that you run the risk of your life being threatened. So. Just Giants and Dodgers.
Yeah, is it not any Dodgers game? It's only Giants-Dodgers games, right? At
It's
either of
only
their
Dodgers,
stadiums.
Dodgers, Giants, and you have to be wearing the wrong colors in order to have something happen. Don't go see a Dodgers Giants game in a Giants uniform if you're
Yeah.
not really a Giants fan.
Are Dodgers colors, are they neutral? Are they Crip colors or are they blood colors, Bob?
Um, I don't know either way, actually. I think one of them's blue. I think one of the colors is blue. If I'm going by my pop culture references and stuff, so they're probably used. But yeah, it can definitely go a lot of different ways. It's nice to see when fans can just be nice to each other and enjoy a good game. So, but we have another fun big game coming up this weekend. A little thing called the Super Bowl.
That's right. They do call it the Super Bowl. It's going to be a late night for me, but I will be watching the whole thing till the bitter end here,
Are you going to be
Bob.
staying up for it?
I am going to be staying up for it. I'm not sure what the plan is. It is on local TV here, so I might be going out to try to watch it because places in this part of the world, liquor laws are tight, but not that tight. So if you're a bar and you're like, well, I want to stay open 4 or 5 hours later than I'm supposed to close, I'll just do it. It's once a year, and it just be fine.
Yeah.
And the cops are like, well, all right, yeah, it's a Super Bowl. You got to stay. So it's just like you wouldn't have the massive shutdowns and huge fines that you would in the States for staying open 1 minute later
Yeah.
than liquor time.
Well, that's cool. Do people get into the game as far as like rooting for a team and stuff, or are they pretty much just tune in to watch the game?
They kind of just tune in to watch the game. It's kind of the only time they do it. It's an excuse for them to stay up all night, although they, like I this year, wish it was on a Saturday night for us instead of a Sunday night. So productivity goes down on Mondays for some. Yeah, mostly it's that. Unless someone has lived in the States, because a lot of Irish people do spend a significant portion of their life living outside of the country, and some of them come back, some of them don't, but a lot of adults have either traveled extensively in America or have lived there, so they will have a NFL team that would have been close to them. It's usually the Patriots because Boston is a big town for them to land.
Gotcha. So it would have been
So
a more they would have more fan base if the Patriots would have made the Super Bowl then.
yes, I would say more Irish people would be more excited in the game directly,
In
not
the game
just
directly.
the idea of like,
Yeah.
well, let's stay up all night and watch this big thing.
We all love
now,
excuses for that.
Yes, no, I know that's true, but yeah, I wish it wasn't quite as late, so it wasn't like me sitting by myself on my couch at 4 a.m. on a weeknight, just feeling sad. And last year it was by the time it got close to 3 or 4 a.m, it was just a blowout.
Yeah. Well, the game had shifted quite a bit with that massive interception. So, the last year was the drive and the interception. So hopefully we have a competitive game this year. But looking back, though, we had not so competitive Pro Bowl, and I don't know if
Yes.
you got a chance to stay up and watch any of that.
The answer is no on that. I did not choose to. I did not seek it out. To tell you the honest truth, I did not even look up what time the game was going to be. I just saw the day, and it wasn't until I think 2 or 3 days later I was like, oh yeah, the Pro Bowl was the other night. I guess I better see what happened. I guess I better take a look because you and I both made picks of the Rose Bowl. We did not pick for Team Irvin or Team Rice, but we picked a player who had to A, show up in Hawaii, B, show up to the game, C, suit up, and D, actually log a snap.
Yep.
Now, your pick, Bob, was Russell Wilson. I believe that pick was correct. I actually believe, did Russell end up being MVP of the
He
Pro
did.
Bowl, Bob?
Yep, I parlayed that into the MVP as well, so I get double
Oh,
points.
a retroactive parlay. Very nice.
I
very
believe
nice.
if we
I
go
like
back,
it.
check the tape, I said MVP, so.
No, you did originally mention MVP, and then I think I turned around and said, I don't know if I can name a player who's going to play, so I was the one who backed it down. I picked Julio Jones as kind of a wild card, who did not only log a snap, he logged some stats and a nice touchdown, which I did see it on the highlight reel.
That makes sense. Julio Jones is familiar with catching touchdowns, so.
Now, another highlight from the Pro Bowl, Bob, and I didn't see this, or I saw this, before I checked the official highlights. I saw this on Twitter. This is a tweet I saw from the official account WWE Universe.
Ooh.
Seahawks' Richard Sherman tried to hashtag RKO out of nowhere Packers' Clay Matthews at the NFL Pro Bowl, and they also tagged someone named Randy Orton. Now, they did
yes.
put a GIF of the video in the tweet, and I watched it, and Richard Sherman appeared to me, Bob, to attempt a move, although it was kind of funny because Clay Matthews is significantly taller than Richard Sherman. He had to jump up to get to his head.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to attempt a move that I would have called the Diamond Cutter.
Yeah.
But it's going by the hashtag RKOO out of nowhere, which is a very long, awkward name. Now,
well, it's just
what
RKO. It's just an RKO.
It's RKO. I understood that. I did what any good fan would do, and I went on Wikipedia to look up what an RKO was.
Absolutely. This is 2016, so.
And I discovered that it's just a diamond cutter.
It's a variation, yes. Everyone tweaks it slightly, but yeah, Diamond Cutter or Stone Cold Stunner or.
Okay, explain the variation to me, Bob. What's the because I didn't see any variation. At least maybe Richard Sherman's technique is not as good as Randy Orton's.
Well, probably not, but I don't want to discredit Richard Sherman's technique on his RKO ability. But this is where you get into the theatrics of wrestling and everything. So it's all what the character has to bring to the table. So with Diamond Dallas Page, I mean, in the name, he had everything going for him. He had his symbol and everything like that. So he just needed a move that had a catchy name to go with it. And Stone Cold Stunner, same thing. Like, it's all just basically dropping down to the floor on your butt with the guy's head over your shoulder. And
yes,
that's supposed to knock them out so much that you can get a 3 count. But it's all the flair. And I always thought that the best finishing moves were attached to some of the most entertaining characters and stuff. Like The Rock didn't have awesome finishing moves. He had basically a choke slam with the rock bottom or the people's elbow, which, I mean, Hulk Hogan got away with a leg drop. Randy Savage had the elbow drop or the flying elbow. And
yes.
But all those moves were acceptable because their characters were so great. So you have slight variations on like the same like 6 or 7 different finishing moves that people can do. And the real creative ones, are, I don't know, they're hard to come by. So
yeah.
you get a lot of the same thing, different name.
You would put the Diamond Cutter / Stunner / RKO in the good category of finishers.
Oh yeah, especially when you look at the characters that had them. So Diamond Cutter, I think I'd put the Diamond Cutter above the Stone Cold Stunner, but looking back, Stone Cold was a really fun character. So he was a little bit annoying during the time, but all that beer drinking stuff was pretty fun. So.
All right. Yes. Well, yeah. So Richard Sherman attempted it. Clearly, Clay Matthews was not amused, or maybe just wasn't ready to be the participant of the RKO.
Fabio has no sense of humor.
It looked to me just like a 5'11" man trying to jump up and give a 6'6" man a diamond cutter and failing miserably.
In the wrestling world, that happens all the time. Like. It does. Size does not matter when it comes to something like that. If you've beaten your opponent down enough, you can do the move. So,
yeah, I found some other things on Twitter, Bob, for the Pro Bowl that would have maybe made it a little bit more entertaining. Now, I wasn't watching it, but I found these the next day from Twitter user Ryan Matejka. He tweeted a few possible modifications to the game. So let me know which one of these you would watch, Bob. We've got replace all of the players with bears wearing helmets.
Okay.
That's a possible modification.
That's dangerous.
We've got, yes. How about this one? Every player is given an uncooked egg. Breaking the egg DQs you for the rest of the game.
Ooh.
You have to hold a uncooked raw egg in your hand.
It's like senior year home economics class.
Yeah, well, that's right. Here's another one. Everybody has to shuffle positions for one drive.
I like that.
A random shuffling of positions for one drive, and there were more, but those are some of my favorite there. I like the idea of the egg. I thought that would be good.
Yeah, the egg. I like random shuffling of positions too, and it might be fun to put some special points on the field and stuff like 50-point touchdown or something like that from a certain like NBA Jam rules essentially. You put a little people can get on fire and score.
So
double
challenge
points.
point, like achievements in a modern video game. So they're like challenge points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you do that, and so we get crazy like 300 to 272. Like that'd be.
That would be a way to get the young kids watching, Bob. Yeah, if they had achievements and they could get level ups.
Yeah, level up
in the Pro Bowl Bowl game.
Here's something. Everyone starts off with no pads on, just jerseys. All right, and for every good play that they make, they get to put on a piece of jersey. All right, and then over the course of the game, people who haven't made plays are still playing in their jerseys, so they're gonna get roughed up a little bit more. So it might be more like gladiators and fun stuff, but
yes. And maybe we could do the opposite of that, and it could be a game that could air on the Playboy channel, Bob. I think.
Well, they start off with uniforms on.
No, I know. We go the other way. We start them
Oh,
off
I
in
got
full
you,
pads.
gotcha. That is the
and they
lingerie
work
bowl.
down to the uniform, and then they keep working down.
Yeah. Well, lingerie bowl is coming up, so we have that to look forward to.
Yes, well, just so this could be maybe this could be the halftime show of the lingerie bowl is to have
That's true.
NFL or maybe XXFL
But where do we
players.
put the puppy bowl though? Where does the bowl go then?
The Puppy Bowl gets on basic cable where it always has been, Bob. What are you thinking? You're crazy here, Bob. I think I'm losing you.
Don't
I'm losing you. This Pro Bowl boredom is just too much.
I know. We should move on. We should move on
Yes,
from our
let's
Pro Bowl boredom.
let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. So this week in sports, fairly uneventful. We had some college basketball going on and NBA playing, but nothing too crazy changing. We did have a National Signing Day spectacle happen on Wednesday, and some fun events that happened. We had one recruit skydive from a plane. We had another one do a paintball tournament, and then probably the biggest spectacle of them all, and we'll tie wrestling back in here, was what Michigan did. They had basically a whole auditorium full of fans and supporters and stuff, and then a stage full of one Ric Flair, Derek Jeter, and Tom Brady to go along with Jim Harbaugh. So it was definitely an interesting spectacle, and I would say the most outrageous National Signing Day that we've seen so far. So, Corey, you have any thoughts on National Signing Day?
Well, my thought is I didn't know it existed until we started recording today. I did not know it happened. I did not care that it happened. I still do not care that it happened until you mentioned that we have this wonderful lineup at Michigan of
Yeah.
Jeter, Brady, and Ric Flair. And I thought immediately, like, one of these doesn't seem to belong. But I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a perfectly matched set. But Ric Flair on the stage. Now, I'm
Or does
wondering,
it?
Bob, would you, if you were a recruit,
Mm-hmm.
would Ric Flair coming onto a stage for one day at Michigan like make you go like, yeah, I was on the fence about this.
Exactly.
I was thinking Ohio State, but
Uh-huh.
Ohio State didn't bring in the Nature Boy
Yeah.
for my entertainment.
Exactly.
So I'm going with you, buddies.
That's kind of what I feel about the National Signing Day. It's become this thing, and just recruiting in general. Like, it's what can you do to get this player on your team, and bringing in somebody like Ric Flair or Tom Brady or Derek Jeter, if that sways the recruit, I don't trust that recruit's judgment. Then that's a huge decision and
Right.
stuff, and uh, those spectacles. If you're going to be entertained by some toys and bright shiny objects and stuff, then I guess that's what you're going to be entertained by. But it seems to me to be a bigger decision for those kids and stuff. And I also don't necessarily like all the attention that those kids get in making that big decision. It's something that hundreds of thousands of kids in the country have to make that decision, and none of them really ever have to have that kind of pressure put onto them, and let alone for just playing a sport really well versus other kids that are their same age. So I couldn't imagine going into my freshman year of college already having a press conference telling the world that was aired on ESPN where I was going to college, and having all these, 50-year-old men, try to get me to come to their school on a daily basis and stuff. It would just be a lot of pressure, and kind of like this. I think a reason why we have athletes out there like we do now with the ego, like we like to complain about the egos and stuff that they have, or kind of judge what they do when they do it, and we seem surprised every time it happens. But this is the reason why it happens, is that we prop them up at such a young age and give them every single thing that they could ever ask for if they're just simply good at a sport. So you get to be on stage with Ric Flair and Derek Jeter and Tom Brady because you're a good kicker.
Yes. Now, you said the key word there, Bob, and the key word there was kid.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about bright, shiny lights, then I question that kid's judgment. It's like, well, kids don't historically have very good judgment, and they
Right.
are easily swayed by bright, shiny lights
Yeah.
and over-the-top celebrities like WWE Hall of Famer, maybe I need to check that, Ric Flair.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer.
But so like you have people do that. Now, if I may share a short personal story.
Yeah.
You remember when I was in high school on National Signing Day, I had the big ceremony. You were big friends of me. No, I was a high school teacher for a while, and on National Signing Day, it's not just the big time sports superstars who sign their letters of commitment.
Hmm.
It is any athlete who is accepting an athletic scholarship, and it's not just for the big money sports.
Hmm.
So we would have in our school a special little press conference for the students who were signing a volleyball scholarship or a softball scholarship or a basketball scholarship to a D2
Hmm.
institution. And the student got to wear a shirt and tie, just like
Yeah.
the ones that they see at ESPN later that night. The
Right.
same their peers
Did
who
they
they
all
would
have
watch on ESPN
entourages
later
and
that
stuff?
night.
Did they all have entourages?
They did not all have entourages, and
Oh,
nor did they all wear like big tacky flat top new era hats
gotcha.
with their shirt and tie or their nice or their just their formal wear, because it was boys and girls who were signing this. They didn't
Hmm.
all wear suits and ties, but the local press would come, the one newspaper writer would come down,
Yeah.
and they would have an official press conference, and they would put out the excuse me, the school would put out snacks and drinks, because it's when you have a press conference you have to
Yeah.
put out snacks and
Of
drinks.
course. Journalists
For
get hungry too.
Yes, for the one or two journalists, but then you would have family and friends come. So it's a kind of a special thing. But the way that it's turned into a circus like this
Yeah.
is kind of scary.
Well, and then you kind of tie back into, there's a debate on whether college players should be paid or not, and I go back and forth on that all the time. But this is one of the reasons why the question's even raised, is because you have your smaller schools and your smaller sports and stuff, and people that are just happy to be able to go to school and get that opportunity, and then you get to a level, especially in football and basketball and at the collegiate level, where they're making so much money, and these kids I mean, the kids can warrant having a press conference that's aired live on ESPN, or the top 20 recruits are going to have not one reporter, but 30 or 40, waiting to see who they sign to and stuff. And
Yes.
it's a lot of attention. And again, at that age, to get that kind of attention and accolades and stuff, I don't think it's the best thing for your psyche, and it doesn't necessarily. It takes an extraordinary person to remain grounded in that situation. Like LeBron James, to see how grounded he's appeared to be throughout his career is crazy.
Gonna put that on record that you use LeBron James and grounded in the same sentence.
Appeared, and then appeared was there too.
Appear and okay,
yeah.
that's right. You qualified it with
Yeah.
appears on
Yep.
the outside to be grounded.
If he
outside
comes
of him
out that he's
calling
got
a
some
special
crazy
press conference for himself.
Yeah, well, if there's comes out some crazy LeBron James stuff has happened, then I can always say, well, it appeared that he was grounded. So, but
Yes.
it's
Right.
again, it's a situation where from a very early age he was good at a sport and good at many sports, and so the attention starts coming towards you, and then you're swayed in certain directions by people, or can be swayed, and it's just something that doesn't exist if you're if you're going to a D2 school to play volleyball or something. Generally don't have your entourage starting to form, people looking to make as much money off of you as possible by you playing a sport and them reaping the benefits. So I think National Signing Day, although your ESPNs and Fox Sports and stuff, they want to talk about how players maybe should be paid and stuff like that, and how there's so many problems in college sports and stuff. They have no problem putting out National Signing Day and making it a spectacle, when it's one of the roots of all the chaos that does end up happening in college sports. So
Yes.
I'm on
and
the
now
fence about it.
we get to devote 5 or 10 minutes in a small audience sports podcast talking about it too. We get to add
Absolutely.
our own voice to the circus of this. The good news about this is, though, Bob,
Yeah.
now that 2016 National Signing Day is over, it is unlikely you will ever hear the names of those people again.
That is true. That is true. And actually doing some research on it, I went back and looked at the past few years of the top recruits and stuff, and very few. I went back into 2006 and took the top 5 recruits, and only 7 or 8 of them are what I would call to be above or above average NFL players, and a lot of them have been with 3 or 4 teams, or cut, or not drafted at all. So it's amazing how much can happen within 4 or 5 years for these kids and stuff. So it could be a quick ride.
Yes. Well, I don't know if we'll see any of them in the Super Bowl in a few years, and I don't know if that's a
We
strong
will
enough
see.
segue or what.
We will see actually one of them in the Super Bowl, Shaq Thompson, this year's first round draft pick, I believe, from the for the Carolina Panthers. He'll be in the Super Bowl, so well, at least one of them has lived up to his recruitment hype. So
All right, all right. Well, I'm glad that we will have just a little bit there. National Signing Day, top-rated recruit jumping in. So the Super Bowl. This is interesting, Bob. This week, I know I'm getting back to Irish media, but I think it might be interesting for
typical.
people in America to. Well, it's what I have. It's what I am exposed to out
Can
here.
we stop talking about Irish media for once? Jeez.
I know, I know, I know. The other morning I woke up and they were playing highlights from the last night's sports talk radio show because believe it or not, they do have sports talk radio on this side of the world too. The show that they usually play on the station is called Off the Ball, which is a soccer reference.
Gotcha.
It's a foul that happens away from the ball.
Okay.
So like in basketball when you have those defensive fouls for a hack or something. One man was explaining to the other man what the Super Bowl was, who the teams were, what was
Gotcha.
going on, and the media week. He was talking about. He just made a few points that I wanted to bring up. He talked about how silly it was that they scheduled the big media night at the same time as the Iowa caucus counting results.
Oh.
For the Super Bowl, and so these even in Ireland, the Iowa caucuses were covered heavily. So he's like, well, the NFL, like, what are they doing? Like the whole world is watching this caucus counting results. Meanwhile, they're like, hey, watch our press conference, watch our players get in front of all of these reporters.
Yep.
They said Coldplay. Why did they schedule Coldplay? They criticized them putting a non-American band at halftime. They were like,
Really?
I think the Super Bowl, and I actually saw this in comments because I dig in the deep internet comments. People just are saying that, like, football is a USA sport. We have to have USA bands only, and period. And, like, the only thing that this Irish guy did qualify it, he said that the Super Bowl after 9/11 in 2002, that in February 2002, U2,
Yeah.
back to Ireland again. I'm always talking about Ireland. U2. He said they did a good job posing as temporary Americans for the Americans that day. He talked about Bono's jacket. I guess his lining had American flag lining,
Gotcha.
and he pulled his jacket open.
Well, U2, they're world citizens, so they can
They are
be
citizens
from
of the
wherever
world,
they
that's
want.
right.
You know.
They're like Superman. They are citizens of the
Yep.
world. They talked about dabbing. They talked, which we'll talk a lot about, I'm sure. Cam Newton's dabbing. One explained to the other one what dabbing was, why all the white people in America are mad at Cam Newton and his dabbing.
I love these gross generalizations too. All these white people.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Irish people tend to think of Americans as all this the same. We're
Yep.
all just this one kind of people.
Yep.
But their pick, Bob, at least the one explaining to the other one, he says it's hard to make a credible case for the Broncos to win. And then next they went on to talk about how much Newcastle soccer team spent on their roster, and I just kind of mentally tuned out after that. So. I also have a little Irish a newspaper article. Here's another nice audio joke newspaper. There we go. It's actually from a student newspaper from the College Tribune. So just a couple of quick quotes here, Bob. These are from Irish sports journalists. So we have the Carolina defense has rightfully taken a backseat to a star offense. These are all spelled differently than Americans. Like offense is spelled with a C.
Yeah.
And defense
Canada
is spelled
does
with
that
a C.
too. Yeah.
Yes, the Canadians do it too. Part of their successful season, the only real wobble, I like that they use wobble, that they faced came in the postseason against Seattle, who nearly came back to tie a game after being down more than 20 points. That's about the defense. Now, their overall pick is, all told, both teams are incredibly balanced and fun to watch. The run of form that the Panthers are on and Manning's history with the final would suggest that they are a good bet to win the trophy and confuse many racist Americans about whether they should applaud the obvious talents of a black quarter space back.
Wow.
Yes. So that was a Super Bowl survival guide. That is from the College Tribune, February 2016. So that's what Ireland thinks about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Super Bowl?
Well, I won't have a problem if Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers win the Super Bowl, so I won't be like shaking my fist at this air or anything. So, not all Americans will be pissed, but I think you get a lot a lot of board reporters and board journalists and stuff that are, we all know that there are still the racial issues and stuff out there, and things like a quarterback in the NFL, there are certain racial tendencies that have happened over the course of the NFL and everything. And, a lot of these sports institutions and stuff are slow to change and slow to like get with the times and everything. But I don't think it matters to anybody on the field who's actually playing the game and determining the outcome what color
No.
anybody's skin is.
Nope.
And so I always revert back to that. Like, if as long as it's not a problem for anybody on the field, everyone else doesn't matter at all. And so if they're gonna have problems, they're gonna have problems. If they're not gonna have problems, they're not gonna have problems. And whether you find Cam Newton's dabbing to be like cocky or inappropriate, and that's gonna determine your opinion of him, I guess he could have done anything. He could have not done that, and you probably still would have found something to have a negative opinion about him.
That's right.
Because I saw not Tom Brady, but Rob Gronkowski. He did like a lap dance on a female reporter recently.
Yes, he did. Yes,
And
he did.
although she asked for it and everything like that, like there are a lot of things with his bro mentality that I'm like, a lot of people like him, but it's like he's such a bro, and I don't know if I'd like to like hang out in the same room with him being a bro. And but he doesn't get the same kind of criticism that Cam Newton gets for just dabbing. Cam Newton doesn't do that. Like, I can only imagine the hellstorm that would come to Cam Newton if he gave a impromptu lap dance on a female reporter.
Yes. And a lot of the people in the media are like these old crusty dudes are like, Johnny Unitas never had to dance when he scored his touchdowns. It's like the earth is not like, if Johnny Unitas was alive today, he would not recognize what was happening on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He would
And he
not
might
know
have.
like
Joe Namath probably would have
television
celebrated.
is.
Well, Joe Namath probably would have celebrated. I mean, there's tons of people that would have
Yes, no,
have gotten
I
with the times and stuff and played the game. I mean, we grew up kind of too in like the extreme celebration mode, like T.O. with the Sharpie and all that stuff, and the popcorn and everything. And
Joe Horn trying. Remember,
Yeah.
like there's a name that
Joe Horn.
trying to get himself into the echelon, but he didn't. He never got there.
Well, and I never really had a problem with it. It always seemed like the old school, the elder statesmen of the game seemed to have a problem with the celebrating. But it's, to me, as like when at the time I was a wrestling fan, so I didn't mind spectacle at all. It was quite entertaining. And as far as like distractions from the game, like I guess I've never been on a football team where we had a distraction like that or anything. So I can't say if it's really a detriment or anything, or if that's just a convenient excuse that they have. But I thought it added a lot to the game. And now with the excessive celebration penalties, it's just tapered down quite a bit. So
Yes.
I also go back and forth on that, where you have acceptable celebration and not acceptable celebration. So Cam Newton can dab and not get a penalty for excessive celebration, but as a Vikings fan, I remember I was watching a game where they were flagged for excessive celebration on their own sideline, and it was like,
Yes.
oh come on, like, or Odell Beckham can do whatever he wants to do, or any Packers fan can jump into the stadium or jump into the stands and stuff. So there's convenient excuses that they have for people that are allowed to do it and people that aren't. So there's still I guess it can go both ways. So
Yeah. Now that you can remember, Bob, did any football player ever give the old D Generation X suck it X as a touchdown celebration to combine your two loves in the late 90s?
Gosh, I don't know. We might have to go back. We might have to get a listener to tell us on the comment boards if that ever happened.
All right, yeah. So on the Super Bowl, we did make a Sticky Bleachers video. Now there were, as there always are with big games, there are lots and lots and lots of people doing video simulations, and actually a number of them did simulations on the same software that we use. That would be the Tecmo Super Bowl 2016, the beautiful ROM hack done by the good people over at TecmoBowl.org. There's a little unpaid plug for the good people on the forums over at TecmoBowl.org, and those folks at TecmoBowl.org did I'm going to call it the official Super Bowl pick video. It's the official one of record because it was done by the people who are the authors of the hack.
It wasn't
and
the
they
official
ran
Sticky
it-
Bleachers.
It wasn't ours, no, but I would say on the internet,
Yeah.
it's the official one of record, and theirs picked Carolina to win by a score of 17-7. Now our video that is live on our YouTube channel, Sticky Bleachers, find it there. We picked also the Panthers to win 26-16, but one of those touchdowns that came on the very last play of the game
Yep.
as Carolina just decided to shove it down the throats. Only up by 3, they went to the air for that
Yeah.
last drive to Greg Olson, I believe, caught the touchdown.
Now, if they do that, if Carolina does do that, they might catch some hellfire for that. Throwing on the
Yes.
last play of the game up by 3 with
Up by
Denver
3.
having no timeouts. So
Yes.
that would be a
Yeah.
little cocky. So
That would be a little bit too much. But it seems like most of the pundits and a lot of the video games are picking Carolina to win. Even the Irish pundits,
yeah,
picking Carolina to win and calling America a bunch of racists, picking
yeah.
Carolina to win. So let's get to the all-important question, Bob. Who you got?
Well, I'm
I
a
think
little.
I might know where
I
you're
enjoy
going.
this Super Bowl because I have no vested interest in either team. So whatever happens is going to be fine. But it's very similar to the Patriots Broncos game, where everyone thought the Patriots were just going to roll over the Broncos and stuff, and um, the Denver D really won that game for them. Um, and I also see a lot of similarities. I would like to see Peyton go out on top. I think there's a lot of people in that group of people that would like to see Peyton just go out on top and retire. Um, but I was thinking about this earlier this morning, and it
All right.
reminds me a lot of the ALCS playoff game in baseball, where the Royals played the Blue Jays, and I followed the Blue Jays throughout the year because they were a fun team to watch, and uh, for the short time that we were out in Colorado, followed the Rockies and Troy Tulowitzki, so wanted to see them do well and go far in the playoffs. And when they ran into um, the Royals were just obviously the better team. So when you were watching that 7 game series, I was rooting for the Blue Jays to win, knowing in the back of my head though that the Royals were just a better team. And it was a great series, and the Blue Jays came within 90 feet of tying up the game. But I think it's a very similar situation to what we have with the Super Bowl. Is that I would love to see the Broncos and Peyton Manning go out on top, but I think they're running into just a very very complete sound team in the Carolina Panthers. So um, I think the Panthers pull this one out. I'm hoping it'll be a good game. I hope it's not a blowout. I don't think Peyton can handle 2 blowout Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
back to back. But
Back to back.
that'd be tough. So I'm hoping for a good game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers won, but I would like to see Peyton go out on top. So
Okay,
is that
so
enough
your pick is
wishy-washy?
your pick is what, Bob?
I
And
said
remember,
Carolina.
remember, you
I
are
know.
half a game behind in the loss column
I
due
know.
to the tie
So
that our simulation
yeah,
ran.
I'm wondering
So,
if I should go against the sim just to.
so if
Just
you want to have a
yeah.
mathematical chance
I'm
to
gonna do
not
it. Yeah, I'll switch
be
it.
okay,
I'll
Bob's
switch. I'll
gonna
go with Denver.
Bob's. Well, you never officially said before, so you don't have to switch.
I
good
did.
buddy.
I said I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, well, all right. So you were quite wishy-washy. Like, well, I'd like
I gotta
to
be
see
wishy-washy.
Denver win.
I gotta be
Carolina
wishy-washy.
win.
I
Not
can't
on
go
a
with.
pick.
Oh yeah. That's how I can say. Well, I saw it going that way the next week. So
And Bob, that leaves me in the enviable position of being well ahead of you
I
in the
know.
picks and getting to pick against you and the favored team. And
I
I'm going
know.
to go for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with
What?
our simulation. I'm going to go with Carolina. So right now the scores sit as follows: 10 games into this year's playoffs, everything except the Super Bowl. I did not count our Pro Bowl pick simply because our simulation did not was
Sure.
not able to make a pick on who is going to get playing time.
Sure.
And because you were right, so I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to mess with your
Right.
score. So
Exactly.
before the Super Bowl, I have 7-3. Bob is 3-7, and our sim is 3-6 and 1 tie. So we will see where that ends up. Carolina getting lots of love. Now, there are a number of side games you can play with the Super Bowl. So whatever team you're going for, or no team, you can play all kinds of different side games, make prop bets if you want. And this is the one time when Americans can be just like the Europeans and put down all kinds of money on lots of different bets.
Yep. Absolutely. I think it's one of the most fun parts about the Super Bowl is you can get all the prop bets and see what player will do what when, or what color Gatorade is going to be poured on the head coach after the game, or a bunch of fun different bets. So I thought it'd be fun to go through all the different prop bets and take some of the best and maybe try to get back into this action here and get my record looking a little bit better.
Oh, all right, all right. So we're going to add a few of these to our picks, or do you want to do a separate category of picks?
We'll do a separate category, but we can add it all up
Okay.
at the end. So
All
maybe I
right,
can
all right,
save
all
some
right.
face later on. But
Okay, let's do this, Bob. All right, go ahead. What do
all
you
right.
got?
So let's think here. Here's one. If Steph Curry is shown on TV during the broadcast, what will he be wearing? A personalized Carolina Steph Curry jersey, and mind you, that Steph Curry is a Carolina Panthers fan. So, personalized Carolina Steph Curry jersey, no jersey, Cam Newton jersey, or any other Carolina jersey. What do you got, Corey?
Well, I have the odds on that bet in front of me, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
The odds listed. So the personalized Carolina Steph Curry, that's getting even odds. That's getting straight up.
Yep.
But I'm going to lean towards the Cam Newton jersey at 3-1. I'm playing with house money here a little bit, so I'm going to go for the 3-1 pick on the Cam Newton jersey.
Okay. Part of me wants Steph Curry to see this bet and then just decide it himself, like put money on it and be like, I'm gonna wear no jersey, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go any other Carolina jersey.
Okay. All
right.
right. You're going 5-1.
Yep, I'm gonna go the 5-1
Right.
odds here. I think he's
All
gonna.
right.
All right, and then let's think here.
How about
Well-
this one, Bob? How about this one? How many times will Archie Manning be shown on TV during the broadcast? Over under set at 1.5. The odds are the over on 1.5 is getting even odds. Under 1.5 is actually going at minus 140. So
Yeah.
for betting folks, that means you would have to bet $14 to win $10. That's what
Yeah.
minus 140 means. So what do you think on that one, Bob? Over under 1.5 for Archie Manning drops.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's got to be over. I think either way the game goes, they're gonna show him at least 2 or 3 times. So
I am dead with you, Bob. If I was putting money on this one, that would be a home run pick for me because I
Yeah.
absolutely am going to go with the over on 1.5. Now I don't know, that line may change before kickoff, but it's interesting to see that the action seems to be on the underside. That's surprising.
yeah, you'd
You got-
imagine either way the game goes, if Peyton wins or loses, that they're gonna show his dad and brother there over 2 times. I mean, how do you show them half a time? That's another thing too. But
Yeah. All right, you got another one?
yeah, well, here the classic. What color will the liquid be that is poured on the winning coach? We have multiple options here.
Okay.
Orange at 5-4, blue at 3-1, clear at 4-1, yellow at 4-1, red at 6-1, and green at 10-1, and purple coming in at last at 10-1 as well. So, what color liquid will be poured on the winning coach?
Well, I tell you, Bob, I did a little bit of research on this one, and
Oh.
I found a source
Okay.
that suggests this. It's not like the Dr. Pickham's or anything, but I have found a source that suggests that Cam Newton reportedly does prefer orange in his Gatorade. So
Okay.
if Cam Newton is indeed on the winning team and he is indeed not in the victory formation during said Gatorade dump,
Gotcha.
it was the projection of this person to put the smart money on orange. So that's what I'm going to go with. What do you got?
That's some deep research right there. I like that.
Yeah.
I have it on no good authority that Peyton Manning prefers Powerade to Gatorade, but let's go with. I'll go with blue. I think
Okay.
blue's a nice safe color. When was the last time a clear liquid was poured on the winning coach? Was
When's
that
the
would
last
that
time a
just be
clear
water?
liquid has been on the sideline? That would be water. Is there any
I
water?
don't think there's
available?
water on the sideline anymore.
Does Microsoft make water? Maybe that would be how we could get it. If Microsoft
Maybe.
makes a brand of water, they can get it on the sidelines, and they could contractually have to show this tub of water brought to you by Microsoft.
Yeah. It
how
actually maybe
much
the
these
tablet
players
can
like
just
it.
dump it on the coach. Maybe you can just have a little app for it and bring the cooler over. Anyway.
All right. I like
So-
that. It's a good one. All right, Bob, how about this? One more prop bet.
All right.
Which song will Coldplay kick off during the halftime show? The first song that Coldplay will play during the halftime show. Here are the songs and the odds, and I don't know very many of these, so I hope you do. I
Mm-hmm.
assume you do. We have Adventure of a Lifetime at 2-1. Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. We have Fix You at 7-2. We have A Sky Full of Stars at 9-2. You getting all this, Bob? We
Yeah.
have Viva. Yeah, I can see you're writing it down ardently. Viva La Vida, or actually, he's looking at his record collection behind him. Viva La Vida at 5-1. We have Clocks at 15-2. They have a song about clocks. We
That
have
was their
Speed
first
of
hit.
Sound at 9-1. Head Full of Dreams, which sounds like a song that needs to be played at the Super Bowl, at
Uh-huh.
10-1. And Paradise also at 10-1.
Head
What
full of
you got
concussions
there, Bob?
just didn't sound appropriate. So
Yeah, well, I think the commissioner axed that one from the
Yep.
set list. I
Ooh,
think that
make
they
it
need to
dreams.
get approval to play that one. So, what do you think, Bob?
I chuckled when the thought of them playing "Fix You" to start off the Super Bowl halftime. That'd just be hilarious. I think "Viva La Vida." I think that's what they got. I think they start off with that.
Okay,
It's
all right.
it's upbeat. It's an upbeat tune. My second thought would be
By
Paradise.
Coldplay standards, it's an upbeat. By
Yeah.
Coldplay standards, you're right.
We'll get
That's
into our Coldplay discussion here in a bit. You make your pick, but we'll dig into Coldplay here.
Okay. Gosh. So I got Baba Viva La Vida. Now that is the. Well, I guess that's not the favorite. 2-1 is the Adventure of a Lifetime. The
Now,
thing is, I don't know. I don't know
that
that.
might-
I don't know that song.
I don't know that song either. That might be their new one, and if that's the case, then they probably will lead with that one. But I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I'm
I've
gonna
fallen
go.
off the Coldplay wagon, so
Okay, all right. Say normally I would just defer to your judgment, but maybe I will just go with the Coldplay expert of the two of us. I'll go with your suggestion, Bob, and I'll go with Adventure of a Lifetime because I think I know Speed of Sound, but I was like, no, not that one. Viva La Vida could have happened, but I don't want to go with you. So we got Adventure.
I really would
of a
love them to play
Lifetime.
"Fix You" though to start off. That'd be just to see the reaction of everyone in the stadium.
Is that the one where Chris Martin goes, "I see you driving round town with the girl I love, and I'm like, fix you." Is that
No.
the song?
No, I believe
Do
you
we know
got
that
your artist mixed up, but I think that's
Shoot.
the CeeLo Green tune there.
Oh, I always get so confused.
I know.
Coldplay. We
I know.
got a
But
couple
anyway-
of thoughts on that one, Bob.
Well,
Uh,
I want to ask you here. So you're close to Coldplay's homeland. So what are the thoughts of Coldplay over there? America
Well-
seems to love them. So
I don't think I believe that, but at least, well, I can tell you, America didn't love them when I left America in 2013, and unless they've significantly changed their attitude, I don't believe you. But they're from the UK, but you would not find a lot of UK people who would say, "All right, yeah, I'm proud to say I'm from the same country as Coldplay, mate." You know what I'm saying?
I find
They-
that
you-
interesting.
You wouldn't find I like Birmingham. I'm proud of big Birmingham. That's where the Coldplay. Chris Martin. You go Chris Martin. Yeah, mate. You could go to Coldplay. I'm gonna stop with the accent now, but yeah, I would not find many British people who would be proud of saying they're from the same country as Coldplay. So unlike U2, where they're kind of a sense of pride for the Irish people,
Yeah,
Coldplay seemed to be like the national embarrassment of the UK.
that surprises me because I would lump U2 and Coldplay into the same boat of anthemic, rock. That's all they try to do, and
I would too, and I would say Coldplay probably took a lot of
Yeah.
a lot from U2 and Creed of that same era.
well, let's not
U2
sully
and
their name.
U2 and
that
Creed
much.
in the late 90s and early 2000s when
Ooh.
U2 was like we found this sound that
Now,
nobody loves it, but everybody can kind of listen to it. So we're
Those-
just gonna make album after album.
Now, those three, Corey, that's like your Ric Flair, Derek Jeter, and Tom Brady. One of those things does not belong, okay? Coldplay,
So
U2, and Creed. One of
Which
those
one
bands
is
does...
Which one is the Ric Flair of
Which-
that group?
Creed.
Is
Creed
Creed
is Ric
the Ric Flair?
Of course, Creed is the Ric Flair. Of course. What are you talking about?
Woo!
Woo! I'm sure Scott Stapp somewhere is doing woo! Man, now we've referenced Creed twice in this podcast, and we're only into 5 episodes, so... Yeah.
Jonathan from Yahoo on that says, "OMG, why Coldplay? Their music is so soft and sissified and just flat
Oh,
out annoying." Ouch, Jonathan. And
it's
what the
not
hell is
annoying.
a British band doing representing the 50th anniversary of an American pastime? Seriously, it's a blah 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 disgrace. And
What are we gonna
Yahoo
get?
does not allow swear words. So
What are we gonna get? Like Fall Out Boy or like I don't. What
I know.
American
See, that's
band is good enough right now? I mean, I
right.
don't
And
want
the
to see
reason I
Bruno
pulled
Mars do anything anymore. I don't want to see Katy Perry or Taylor Swift or any of those people. Justin Bieber. I don't want any of those people anywhere close to something that I have to sit through. So,
right,
um,
and I pulled that one because it was the same thought, the same like odd thought that that I heard on the
mhm.
radio on Irish radio. Like, well, it's weird that they don't pick an American band to do this thing. Like the Super Bowl, I would say transcends international borders. I know
Yeah.
Americans are super into the sport more than the world
Well,
is, but
and if you look at the NFL, they want to get over to London, so
I
they
know
want to
they
try to
do.
cater that market. So it's a bit ironic, actually, if the UK doesn't welcome Coldplay with open arms, that they're going to be more turned off by it than they will be turned on. So um, that could be definitely something. Of course, but Beyonce's in a song that Coldplay has out, and so she'll be there. So you'll get those people that I don't necessarily mind Beyonce when it comes to pop stars, but couldn't name a
no.
song. But
Why couldn't
um,
it be Beyonce featuring Coldplay? Like,
uh,
you know,
I don't know. I don't know.
Coldplay could play the
Coldplay's a better
backtrack to
band.
Bootylicious.
Coldplay's a
You
better
just could.
band. Well, and hasn't Beyonce done it recently? She's done it
Yes,
with
she did.
them.
She did it recently, and she surprised nobody by bringing back Destiny's Child, the reunited Destiny's
Yes, that's
Child
right.
on the gladiatorial arena. Which
How
is
could I
where,
forget where I
yes,
was when Destiny's Child reunited? Oh man, jeez, it's all coming
this
back to me now in a wave.
the surprise,
But,
unsurprise of Destiny's Child coming back together. Yeah,
but
so that's something I'm really not looking forward to, and I have heard that from other Irish people around. Just they're like, man,
interesting.
the game goes so late. Why does the halftime show have to be like an hour long now? And
Mm.
it's Coldplay of all things. It has to be that.
You know, I have a hard time because I enjoy Coldplay. I don't listen to them consistently. I've never seen them live, but I've heard they're a great show, and I know it'll be entertaining. They'll do a great job of playing their hits and keeping people interested.
Right.
And
Yes.
I was
Yes.
looking back. There was I believe it was 2003 or four, but Outkast was asked to play the Super Bowl halftime show, and because they wouldn't shorten their songs because they wanted to play all their songs in full, they had to turn it down. So it was one of those interesting artistic moves, and I've always since I read that I love Outkast anyway, but I
Yes.
respect them for doing that, for not having to shorten down their songs and wanting to have some type of artistic integrity going into the Super Bowl. Um, on that note, though, I would love to see Outkast in the Super Bowl halftime show. I think that'd be
Yes.
hilarious.
Well,
But
let's get the letter writing campaign going now. Do people still write letters? Let's get this
yeah,
going.
yeah, we
Let's
have
get it on
websites to write letters.
GoFundMe. Let's put it on Kickstarter. Let's put it on Indiegogo. We'll do all three. We'll get on
Signapetition.com.
Patreon. Yes, we'll go to whitehouse.com. We'll get the president involved.
Yep, we'll get
Yeah.
Outkast in there for sure. We might be able to get him in there by Sunday, so who
Yeah,
knows?
that's right. Donald Trump is probably a big Outcast fan, right?
I would imagine so. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. All right.
he likes
All
Bon
right.
Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, and Outkast in that order. So
Yeah. Yeah. Hey Bob, I wanted to give a couple of shout outs here before we wrap things up this week.
absolutely.
On our videos this week, Retro Sports Gamer chimed in. He made a minor note for our Cody Rhodes discussion, our Gold Dust discussion.
Yes.
So he clarified Cody Rhodes is now Stardust. He is Gold Dust's brother, and I assume that extends to both of them being the son of the late great Dusty Rhodes.
Yes,
Is
that
that
makes
how that? Also, Buccaneer Bruce from our 1991 Pro Bowl video said simply, "Nick Lowry is such a prick."
And we
So
got a
thank
little bit
you.
of we got a little Twitter action there with that too. Another guy said Nick Lowry's nickname was Nick the Prick. So
Yes,
Nick Lowry
yes.
legacy as a jerk still intact. So
Yeah, that's right. So thank you to Retro Sports Gamer, and thank you to Buccaneer Bruce for chiming in. If you want to chime in, we would love to hear from you in the comments threads on our YouTube videos. We do have lots of stuff going up there. We have a simulation game every week. We have the entire NFL playoffs. We have all 11 games in a playlist that are linked to from our video for the Super Bowl. We'll be keeping that going as we go through. So get in touch with us there. Get in touch with us on Twitter. We are at Sticky Bleachers.
Yep.
And Facebook, we're Sticky Bleachers. Where else are we, Bob?
Oh, we're a little bit everywhere. Just Google Sticky Bleachers. We'll come up. So, in all the different ways we're out there on the internet.
Yes. Well, the subscribe button and the thumbs up button will really help us a lot on those YouTube videos. So if you
Absolutely.
care to, give us those clicks. I know clicks are a lot to ask for, and I don't mean that sarcastically as someone who kind of half works on the internet. I know that clicks are their currency now. So we would appreciate if you did that. But I think that might be all for us for this week, Bob. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think we've done our podcast job here. So. Thanks
All right,
so much
well, we'll
for
wrap
listening.
things up. Yeah, and we'll be back next week. We'll talk more about what happened in the Super Bowl and what we will be doing in the season of the doldrums.
Absolutely. Have a great week, guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you guys soon.
Play ball.
Sticky.